and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. I'm Anne Nwawadu. On the program today, we speak with the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Breweries PLC, Jordi Borut-Bell, on how the company uses the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to drive development. Plus, our chat with the Managing Director of GB Foods Nigeria, Vincent Egbe, reveals how the food company has survived almost a century. According to him, doing good is good business. Once again, welcome to the program. Nigerian Breweries PLC is the pioneer and largest brewing company in Nigeria, serving the Nigerian market and exports to other parts of West Africa. Let's find out about their history and what they do.
Nigerian Breweries PLC is a subsidiary of Heineken. It was incorporated in 1946 as Nigerian Breweries Limited. In June 1949, the company recorded a landmark when the first bottle of Star Lager beer rolled out of its Lagos brewery bottling lines. In 1957, the company commissioned its second brewery in Aba, and the name became Nigerian Breweries Limited. Then the Kaduna Brewery came in 1963, with the Ibadan Brewery coming in years later in 1982. Following the coming into effect of Companies and Allied Matters Act of 1990, the name of the company was changed to Nigerian Breweries PLC to reflect its public limited liability status. In 1993, Nigerian Breweries Limited acquired its fifth brewery in Enugu. Nigerian Breweries PLC now has 9 fully operational breweries from which its high-quality products are produced, like Star Lager beer, Gulda, Maltina, Legend Extra Stout, Amstel Malta, Fayrouz, the Heineken, which was relaunched into the Nigerian market in 1998, and several other brands. In 2014, as a result of the merger with Consolidated Breweries PLC, more brands were introduced. 54% of the raw materials used are sourced locally. Nigerian Breweries PLC is listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and as at December 31, 2019, it had a market capitalization of approximately 472 billion naira, making it one of the largest companies in Nigeria by market capitalization. It has also received several awards in the capital market.
To discuss the impact the company has made is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Heineken subsidiary, Nigerian Breweries PLC, Jordi Borut-Bell. He joined the Heineken Group in 1997 as a sales representative and has over 20 years' experience in business and sales. Nigerian Breweries PLC says it is committed to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 1 and 2, which is zero hunger and no poverty. What have you done in terms of committing to the most vulnerable in the society?
We are committed to those two goals, and basically we do that through different means. We do that directly as Nigerian Breweries in many interventions that I'll explain, but also through our own funds. We have a Felix Owiheri Educational Trust Fund, and also through the Africa Foundation. And what we're doing is also trying to develop the young people, the youth especially, and women, which are the most vulnerable parts of the society, to acquire the skills to be employable and to get out of the poverty area. So we do that with a program that's called Nigerian Breweries Empowerment, Youth Empowerment. You know, our first commitment is also to our own employees. We have, during these times of COVID, we've committed that none of our employees would lose his or her job due to this pandemic, and we've kept that commitment. And we, for instance, have a university in Ibadan that recruits every year young people, also to bring people employability and recruit them in our own company.
Your organization is one of the foremost that's very good in sponsoring sports. Tell us those different sporting activities you actually sponsor and your achievements so far.
Yes, we love sports as a company because we are part of the Nigerian society, and Nigerians love sport. You cannot miss it. When I came here years ago, I could see it. And the company has been sponsoring sports for many decades. We were with Maltina Cycling Tour sponsoring cyclists. We sponsor tennis with Amstel and also Maltina. Golf tournaments with Heineken brand. We've been the national sponsor for chess tournaments for many years as well. And most recently, a couple of years back, we signed an agreement with the National Football Federation, the Nigerian Football Federation, and we are the official sponsors of the Super Eagles and the Super Falcons. And we are super proud of that. So we are now the official beer and malt drinks of those two national teams. And by the way, we got the ladies, some of the players in the Super Falcons in our latest Amstel commercial. That was pretty cool.
Young, talented individuals need platforms to showcase themselves. What is Nigerian Breweries doing to ensure these individuals have this platform to show what they have got inside of them?
Well, talking about what they have got inside, you know that as a company we are very mixed with the entertainment industry, with cinema, arts, music. So what we do, what we've done over the years is provide these young people with platforms for them to showcase their talents. And we've done that through the Star Music Fest, Star Trek. We had for many, many years, and I'm sure you know it, the Gulder Ultimate Search, Highlight Fests in the East, the Maltina Dance Hall. So there's a lot of platforms that we're doing for these young people to showcase and to come up. And many of the artists we know today came through one of these initiatives. Actually, last year we signed an agreement with Access Bank, by which we launched Access the Stars, which is also another initiative. But that's on the music aspect, on the sports, let's say on the entertainment. On the technical aspect, as I explained, we are committed to providing these young people with the technical skills to be able to be employed. We provide them jobs through our own company, but we cannot provide jobs for all of them, so we provide them the technical employability. We did that in Imo State last year with 105 young people. And this year we're going to 5 host communities, Awomama, Aba, Ibadan. So around the brewery we are providing these technical skills with specialized people that will provide them about how to present themselves, how to have an employable job so that they can go into the market with better chances. And that's happening next year.
As far back as 1994, Nigerian Breweries committed over 100 million naira just to improve education in Nigeria. Tell me, are you that committed as we speak?
Oh, more than that. We started that fund in 1994, but that fund through the Felix Owiheri Educational Trust Fund has been growing. And since 1994, we've been investing in providing schools, new schools for students. We've constructed over the years more than 400 schools in Nigeria. We've touched thousands of students on these schools, and it's just not the school itself. We provide the books, computers, the infrastructures inside the schools. So that's been happening over the last years. We also support universities. So recently I was in Ibadan with the Technical University of Medicine, and we provided them with materials for their education. And every year we have the Maltina Teacher of the Year, which is for me the best event that I attend, where we reward a community which many times doesn't get rewarded. It's the teachers. We praise the teachers, but many times we don't do enough to reward them. And we do with the Ministry of Education. We have a joint platform where we do the Maltina Teacher of the Year. This year is not going to be presential, obviously, for obvious reasons, but we've done digitally, and thousands of teachers, they appeal. And there's regional winners, there's state winners, and there's national winners who get rewards for them and their schools, but also the chance to go outside to Manchester, for instance, to study and develop themselves. So this is, for instance, a wonderful platform we do for education. We're really committed on education, and we will continue with that.
Excessive use of water contributes to global water stress, which we know, and water is one of the major components in your brands. Take, for example, beer is about 95% water. Tell me what Nigerian Breweries is doing to ensure they achieve SDG Goal 12, which is about responsible production and consumption.
Okay, no, thanks, Anne. It's a very important question. And indeed, in Nigeria, in many other countries, but as well in Nigeria, water is a scarce resource. And we utilize water. That's our main ingredient in our beverages. So we are very conscious of that and committed. So what do? We basically do 3 things. The first one is reduce water. Don't consume as much water as you would do. So we measure and we do everything we can to reduce the consumption of water for our drinks. We measure that to the deciliter, I can tell you, and we compare each brewery to make sure that we don't waste any water. The second is we treat the water. So the water that is used and goes back again into the rivers, we have our own water treatment plants to make sure that it goes into the right conditions. And the water that we cannot reutilize, send back, we use it, for instance, to water our gardens or in a way that it's sustainable. But that's not enough, because at the end of the day, what our aim is to have a global water balance, which means that we want to provide back water to the society, to the ecosystem, as much water as we take. Now, how do you do that? How do you provide back water? You can do that in many ways. One of them is to plant trees. When you plant the tree provides water, it captures the CO2. And we have a long-term commitment to be water balanced, so that we provide back to the ecosystem the amount of water that we will be taking into our breweries. Now, that's a big effort, but we've already started. And a few weeks back, we signed an agreement with the Ogun State for 500 million nairas to reforestation in Abeokuta. And that's a big project, not the only one we will start, but this is a big one we've just committed a few weeks back. So with the Ogun State government, we will be planting 600,000 trees in the area of Abeokuta. So that's a big project we are embarked on.
If you believe that communities must grow even as your business grows, what is Nigerian Breweries doing in terms of committing to infrastructure, health, and other things to ensure the development?
So the health is one of the pillars of our 6 commitments in brewing a better world in our sustainability agenda. And what we're doing is many things. First, with our own employees. We put safety and health of our own employees as a key priority, and it starts by your own house. But looking outside, what we're doing is we have the Heineken Africa Foundation that is focused at the health of the communities. And only this year, it has committed 800,000 euros for wash sanitation, water sanitation across Nigeria. This is a partnership with local Nigerian institutions that we are doing. The COVID investments we've done, this is cash donations, 500 million, in total 600 million between cash and equipment, protective equipment, support to the doctors and nurses across the whole hospitals that are treating the COVID patients with PPEs, with our mold rings. And overall, we are supporting also the hospitals through our Felix Weheri Foundation, as I spoke, many of them with training and material donation. We also provided vehicles to the NCDC, and not just the company as a whole provided these funds, but the employees as well. They stepped up.
And on a personal level, how has working in Nigeria been for you? Difficult? Has it been interesting? Do you think things can be done differently in terms of business?
Well, I'm not partial. I love this place and I love the country, the company. My wife says that I'm not doing a job, it's a hobby that I'm doing. So she wonders why I'm being paid. But the truth is it's a passion. I love the country, the history of this company, the legacy is just phenomenal, the type of people, the energy that I get. So in true, yes, COVID times have been tough times, but this has been the best time of my life. The energy you get in Nigeria, you don't get elsewhere, certainly not in the old Europe. So the only thing I'm not getting used to is the food. My stomach is very delicate, so I'm not getting used to the Nigerian spiciness. That's the only, I would say, bad. But for the rest, I cannot ask for anything else. I really love it here.
Your company's corporate social responsibility is based on a mission, which is winning with Nigeria. How much are you willing to do to ensure Nigeria actually keeps winning?
Our mission is to win with Nigeria. And what we mean by that is we will be sustaining and promoting the society as long as we exist as a business. It's who we are. We are a Nigerian company. 99% of our employees are Nigerians. Our shareholders, more than 100,000 are Nigerian. So we cannot be as a business if we not invest in the society. And the company has been existing since 1946. So I could go long and long to explain all the initiatives we've done. We've talked about that long enough. But my message is we will be continuing that support to the society. Sustainability is at the heart of our business. It's not something that we do on a Friday afternoon. It's who we are. This is the company as we understand it. And that's going to be as it is, and it will be existing as we exist as a business.
When we return on Kaleidoscope, we'll find out more about the culinary product manufacturer, GB Foods. Stay with us. Welcome back. In homes across Nigeria, you are most likely to find food condiments like Gino and the popular mayonnaise brand Bama. Well, let's tell you more about their manufacturers.
GB Foods Africa is a consortium of a strong global food player, GB Foods. Globally, GB Foods started as a concentrated stock cubes manufacturer in Barcelona during the Spanish Civil War. The birth of the Galina Blanca brand in 1937 introduced the beginning of a long and exciting journey. In 1954, it diversified into new varieties and new formats, transitioning to the third generation and keeping the original essence of the family business values. In 1973, it began operation in Africa, growing its portfolio in local brands like Gino tomato paste, Pomo, bouillon cubes, curry powder, Bama and Jago mayonnaise, and lots more. Its historical brands in each country makes GB Foods products some of the most sought after in homes for several years. Today, with a turnover of around 1.2 billion euros and over 3,000 employees, GB Foods is present in more than 75 countries across Europe and Africa, including Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Russia, Sweden, Finland, Nigeria, Ghana, Algeria, and Senegal.
How has GB Foods survived being in business for almost a century? Let's hear more from the Managing Director of GB Foods Nigeria, Vincent Egbe.
We have very strong local brands, whether it's in Spain, or whether it's in Algeria, or whether it's in, the Netherlands, or whether it's in Nigeria. So it's always been about serving consumers locally what they need versus just giving them an absolute global solution. And that's why we have stayed a part of everyday lives.
You have used the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to create a roadmap for yourself in making sure there's a positive impact you're making on the society. Tell us more about this.
The Sustainable Development Goals basically stem from a significant or one keyword, sustainable. Sustainable means that communities where we operate and where we site our facilities or our projects are able to be prosperous societies. They're able to thrive. Health is very, very important from the SDGs. And many of the diseases that impact many of our rural farming communities are transmitted from the water that they take. And so we did a survey of the 16 communities around our farm. And we found, yes, they had challenges with getting basic water. They have been used to fetching water from the river and everything. And we provided boreholes in these 16 communities. And when you go to our factories, like the one we have in Bagada, the wastewater from the factory is as clean as swan water. Because we take our time to make sure that before the water leaves us as waste, we completely purify the water so that we leave a positive impact on the environment.
Your business is a culinary business, which means that you have to deal a lot with raw materials from farmers. Do you invest in these farmers, and how much have they benefited from what you do at GB Foods?
As you can see, we're one of the few, what you can call multinationals where the leadership of the company is local. Is also something very critical to us, which is called local sourcing. Over and above the advantage of being protected from forex exposures and maybe currency devaluation over the long term. One of the critical elements behind our drive to invest in local sourcing is that we know that when we source locally, we are directly empowering homes and livelihoods. And so I'll give you an example. Bama has been in Nigeria for the longest possible time. It's the biggest mayonnaise brand in Africa. Okay? It's the biggest across sub-Saharan Africa. And a few months ago, maybe just about 3-4 months ago, we built the biggest mayonnaise factory in sub-Saharan Africa, right here in Nigeria, a few kilometers from here in Ogun State. And we are sourcing our soybeans, one of the core components of mayo is oil, plant-based oil, like soy oil. We source 100% of that. And that's the biggest product. We source 100% of that from Nigeria. You think about our tomatoes. We're working on very solid outgrower programs. One of our biggest supporters have been the Central Bank of Nigeria, and we're very grateful to them. You know, the Central Bank has been transformational in terms of its transforming, smallholder farmers' fortunes by aggregating them around production companies and around key commodities that can supply the nation. And tomatoes is not an exception. We've had the opportunity to now work with farmers in Kaduna, in Katsina, and in Kebbi, and we're still expanding. And here, in working with these farmers, we are going beyond just sourcing. One of the critical challenges that the tomato industry faces in Nigeria is very low know-how, technical know-how of actually growing tomatoes, and as a result, we have low output and low yields. On average, when you go to any tomato growing country, we're the second largest in Africa, but when you go to any tomato growing country in the world, like Egypt, like Spain, Portugal, Ukraine, China, the US, the average yield from a farm is around 100 tons per hectare. When you come to Nigeria, the average yield is anywhere between 5 and 8 tons per hectare. Less than 10 times the global average. And it's due to the fact that the practices that grow tomatoes are pretty complex. And we are used to simple, non-mechanized, non-technology-based farming. And one of the things we're doing here is transferring technology to the farmers. When we were starting our smallholder outgrower projects in Yauri, Ngaski, Wara, all those places in Kebbi, the first thing was giving them access to a water pump to make sure that they could actually pump water. Most people give them seeds. We grew the seeds into seedlings, investing in the first 30 days. Because one of the critical things about the yields of tomatoes is the first 30 days. The way they're managed will determine if the tomato plant is going to have 30 fruits or 5 fruits, which basically determines the yield, because per hectare you have 35,000, so 35 times 20 or 35 times 5. Then we also show them how to manage, fertilizer, how to manage pests from when the first vectors of these diseases may crop up. So providing free extension service, and also then being the market that they can supply. And in Nigeria, most of our tomato farmers use baskets. By the time you transport the tomato from one point to the other, the whole thing, half of the tomatoes are crushed. So we also provided free plastic crates, ensuring that post-harvest losses were to the very barest minimum, in fact, eliminating them almost completely. And for us, the way we look at it is like, now Nigeria is turning 60. One of the big challenges we're trying to give to ourselves is how can we empower 60,000 farmers in the coming few years? Because you think about the tomato industry in Nigeria, anything between 180 to 220,000 farmers in that landscape, more or less. And if we can empower as much as 1/3 of them, and then we'll all be able to build what we call sustainable value chains in partnership with the local communities, in partnership with the CBN, in partnership with the government. And as a result, what we're going to see is the boomerang effect of the prosperity.
Reducing poverty, improving education, and contributing to responsible production. These are some of the areas you pay lots of attention to. Tell us some of the projects and initiatives that have been carried out to touch these areas.
Let me start from the third one, responsible production. And I'm going to speak about water. Investing heavily in drip irrigation means that we are able to conserve the water for the families that surround our farms, that we don't have a water crisis in future. Now, talking about reducing poverty, when we did our pilot factory and farm in Kaduna State, supported by His Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State, we chose not to use automatic harvesters or automatic planters. Automatic seedling planters as well. We chose to do things manually. There's a small community there just behind the farm. And we sent in our economists to look. The ladies there, some of them were working for the very first time in a company. And they were the ladies who did the seedlings. And when the seedlings became plants and had germinated and given, and had fruits and were ready to harvest, we invited the same people back. Incomes in that community went up 300%. One of the challenges about child education in Nigeria is that the farmers are very poor, and so they take their kids to help them on the farm, and when the kids finish helping them, they send them also to go and hawk. But when companies come forward and send in free extension workers and help to aggregate the farmers together and give them the inputs, and the farmers' incomes grow, the farmers are able to send their children to school. One of the biggest drivers of productivity in the world is health. And what drives your health? One big part of your health is driven by nutrients that you consume. We have different micronutrient deficiencies here and there. And so one of the big things that we do to make a big difference is consistently fortifying our products with the right micronutrients. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we supported a lot of states and a lot of communities and even arms of government. We sent palliatives. We were one of those who supported the CBN fund. We were also one of those who supported different states in donating to multiple communities, our police communities in a couple of states. We supported them because their wives' businesses were also shut down. Many of them couldn't open, and yet they had to stand on the front line protecting us and making sure that things happen. Our purpose as a company is celebrating local flavors. And how is that possible if you're not a localized company? A localized company means you're creating thousands of jobs. Our agribusiness project, for example, as we speak, is already providing over 1,000 jobs. We have built 3 iconic factories. Number 1, our cubes factories. Our manufacturing lines for cubes in Nigeria are the fastest in the world. Not the fastest in Nigeria, not the fastest in Africa. I mean the fastest machines in the world. Hence, think about the efficiency and the power savings that we have in terms of our manufacturing footprint. Number 2, our mayonnaise factory that we built in a record 7 months has the largest mayonnaise manufacturing capacity in all of sub-Saharan Africa. Number 3, when our tomato project is in all 5 phases done, it'll be the single largest tomato project in all of sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, so let's end this with the commitment that you are making to ensure societies and communities around you are actually benefiting from GB Foods.
If we're operating in a country, if we're operating in a community, the community must also win. Whether it's a farmer, whether it's a consumer, or whether it's that little girl that needs to get an education in that place. This is the commitment that we make, and this is going to be the story that you read about us all the time.
Well, we hope to hear more of such impactful stories. Thank you so much for watching Kaleidoscope for today. Don't forget to catch up with us via social media handles scrolling on your screen. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Thanks for watching and stay safe.